Maybe God exists, or just a muse tapping. Have faith, it says. Choose a common noun for the title of this collection. One syllable is all you'll need. Then stand by it, be ready to defend, as the meaning will change and transform over time.
Retrospective with Reading Glasses started in 2011 when I took my first photograph. And from that point, I started moving into a phase, with the idea being that each one of the photographs would only have one thing in common, and that is they're all photographed in 1 hour. I really wanted to discipline myself to that. It was really important that I didn't veer from that because I wanted the photographs to have sort of that raw quality. I started with only photographing artists, but then as I moved through this idea of the 1 hour, after I finished the first 6 years of photographing, the last 2 years, it didn't have to be an artist necessarily, but it's somebody who I felt resonated with me as a subject.
My teacher says to observe the natural order, draw her from memory, shadows and lines, symmetry, proportion. Then without touching my bald head or wrinkled face, explore the broken parts, draw a self-portrait through her eyes.
I have always been drawn to anything in black and white. So my aesthetic started very early on, probably, when I was 14, 15, 16. And I was really drawn to these wonderful black and white photographs, mostly that were done of rock musicians, Bob Dylan, Keith Richards. And I was always intrigued as to how, these black and white photographs, in my opinion, showed more of the artist than when they would have these color photographs. So little by little, I began to realize that for me, the aesthetic of black and white, the noir, sort of the darkness of a room with a black and white vision or black and white aesthetic really moved me. And so when I first started photographing, I wanted to do two things. Number one, I kind of wanted to almost capture what a film photograph would look like, but through a digital lens, a digital camera. And I also wanted to capture all of my subjects in black and white. Well, we know in art that everything is good until it becomes old. And then for me, black and white was great photographing it, but then of course I wanted to try and experiment new things. And that's when I started doing my first photograph in color. And that's what you see here. That's my first color photograph. I love the result. I loved working with the subject. And so from that point, I started doing more and more color photographs, but I started building subjects differently.
Last night, I tried editing my confessional, but couldn't figure where to put the period.
The idea of collaboration, the idea of mixing various mediums to create one line or one story, or enhance the viewing of film, or enhance poetry through animation. The use of multimedia in this exhibit really has to do with the fact that because I'm not a trained artist, I didn't study art, I did it through trial and error. I have no parameters, and so I've been able to experiment with all different kinds of mediums. The videos that you see in the first room are my words, but spoken or narrated through an actress. So she's answering certain questions about art, which are really inherent to me. What is art? Why do I do this? And she's answering them, and that's enhancing, I hope, the entire exhibit. So we have videos, we have photography, we have text, but we also have collage in the last room where people that come to the exhibit can put me together.
Sometimes when reading my works aloud in front of an audience, I struggle to remember how I got here in the first place, and wonder why anyone might choose to give up their evening at home savoring a mild brie with a French Bordeaux and listen to this.
For me, the feeling that I want to evoke from the folks that come and visit and take their time to really walk through the exhibit is to think about two things. The first thing is, what is art? Why do we do this? And how do we take art and turn it into a story? It's really important for me as an artist to always create some kind of through line that I hope the viewer can relate to. Now, this is a fairly big exhibition. It's 5 rooms. It's not just one room or one wall. And that is a blessing because it really gave me an opportunity. I worked with 5 other people on this, but they all helped me to curate how this through line would be threaded through each photograph, each text, each video. So when people do leave, I hope that they're going to maybe understand a little bit more about art, because as I say, when somebody comes to it, midway through their life, maybe it's understood a little bit differently. And I hope that that's one of the takeaways, that art is accessible to all of us at any age. We just have to be willing to set the time aside in our busy schedule to do it. Never doubt it. Always be confident that you have something to offer to the world, and the discipline to keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. And I think that that's what I want people to take away from this show. I think I want them to get one step closer, maybe not to an ultimate truth, but the truth of me.
Maybe in the end, all I can hope for is to arrive at the last stanza with a drip more insight